welcome to Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield here with Maureen Callahan, host of The Nerve with Maureen Callahan. Maureen, who should be shaking in their boots this week? Who are you going after this week?
Lena Dunham
Oh,
is going to become a permanent resident of the woodshed. She's never getting out. If no one else will institutionalize her, we will. And Sarah Jessica Parker, not just her terrible show, but Sarah herself, she's got it coming.
oh my gosh. I love watching your recaps. Well, I don't watch them just like that because it's terrible. So I just
Hmm.
watch your recaps and I feel at one with the And Just Like That universe.
I am doing the Lord's work,
You
Kinsey. I
are.
am.
You are.
I am.
You're taking one for the team. All right.
Hmm.
Well, I let you know a few seconds ago. Prince Harry's in Angola. Walking landmines. Now, the reason I'm telling you this and that a source told the Daily Mail the Duke won't let his wife go to England over security concerns, so there was no chance he'd allow her to go to Angola to walk across landmines, is because Harry and Meghan say that they did not tell the Daily Mail that they were pursuing a royal reconciliation. Like it came out that Harry was livid that someone leaked the peace talks, but someone is suspiciously now telling the Daily Mail about a trip, a surprise trip Prince Harry just took. There is a lack of consistency when it comes to this crew, and or maybe the only thing consistent is that they are inconsistent. You can't say like we are mad at the Daily Mail and then somebody go give the Daily Mail another scoop about Prince Harry.
This is so amazing on so many levels. So first of all, Harry is now has manifested the literal version of what he's been doing lo these many years, which is walking on landmines, and one of them is going to go off.
Ugh.
Like they've been going off. Secondly, let's say if we're going to give the bet, because if Harry and Meghan didn't leak it, well, it wasn't the palace. It was not. It was not. It's one of two people, and we have a track record of
Right.
offenses. But let's take Harry at face value. Do you think it's possible, Kinsey, that Meghan secretes herself in another wing over in Montecito and is secretly making those phone calls without letting Harry know? Because to your great scoop the other week, you said you have it on great authority that she tends to abuse the staff when he's not around.
Mm.
And when he does see it, he intervenes on behalf of the staff.
Right. Well, here is my theory. I think that I don't think Harry gave Omid Scobie his scoop in Endgame. We saw Harry dismiss the royal racist storyline with Tom Bradby, saying, "Oh, we never said that. The media said that." He was being dishonest. He was trying to dismiss it, but he was clearly trying to change the conversation. He ignores the royal racist storyline in Spare. They really don't get into it in the Netflix series, but someone whispered in Omid Scobie's ear that it was King Charles and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. You are probably like me. You probably don't believe that whatsoever, that
Mhm.
they were the royal racists, or there is a royal racist, we should stress. But somebody whispered that in Omid Scobie's ear, and I don't think it was Harry. And the Dutch version was accidentally leaked, and here we are today. Omid Scobie really has kind of fallen off the face of the planet and doesn't get very many scoops from the Harry and Meghan camp. But somebody did tell him that. And that's why I think that perhaps Meghan does do things that Prince Harry doesn't know about.
And this goes to how thick he is.
Yeah.
Diana herself used that word regarding Harry. He's thick. He can't figure it out. He can't figure out that in a filet-o-deux, the two of them, largely friendless, I believe,
Yeah.
staff churning over, nobody's around long enough to get any real intel and go sell it, and I'm sure they signed the mother of all NDAs as it is.
Yes.
So if it's not Harry, who do you think it is?
Right.
Where's that call coming? It's coming from inside your house, you dummy.
Yeah. Same with the paparazzi photos. Harry doesn't want pictures of his children out there. The only source we have for pictures of his children out there are his wife.
What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little breathing room. It's possible when you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and there doesn't seem to be a way out. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. You need to call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. And their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise. It's fast, it's simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Call before it's too late. 866-887-1201. That's 866-887-1201, or visit americanfinancing.net/unfiltered.
This idea of the royal reconciliation, it turns my stomach almost immediately. I'm like, no, you don't deserve it. I know that this is very petty of me. I know I need to be an adult here. There are so many people too that are telling me Prince William's going to be head of the church one day. As head of the church, he has to be an example, that example being forgiveness. I understand that. That is a very logical explanation to me. But from a PR standpoint, from somebody who's just private in general, I look at Harry and Meghan as an incredible liability, as somebody that, or as a pair of people that try to tear others down when they don't get their way. And I think to myself, don't do it. And I know that that makes me small. I know that that makes me a bad person.
I don't think that's true at all, Kinsey. I think it makes you a smart person. First of all, head of the church. I mean, Charles is head of the church and he is married to the woman he had a long time extramarital affair with. It has not diminished him in any real way. It's made him more human. Secondly, I can get often with the vengeful God of the Old Testament. I think sometimes vengeance is applicable and the only answer. I don't know how William could credibly, conceivably, or Catherine, Princess of Wales, ever trust Harry again after all he has done and said to them. And especially Catherine, having gone through what she's gone through, and she's still in a process of recovery and healing, and she will live with this for many, many years. It changes your perspective on life. And I would bet it has had a very clarifying effect, a winnowing effect. And lastly, I think the reason this story remains so compelling is I don't think there is a family on the planet that cannot relate to this kind of stuff. Charles is ill. He is an older man. He knows he has fewer days ahead of him and then behind him. And I think he is looking to make his peace with his son before it's too late. I think there's something very elemental and human that is driving this impulse. But what do these two do? What do? They can't help themselves. They immediately leak this summit. Unless you want to strip him, he's entering, a fortified, high classified unit, make sure he's not wired up. There are multiple people around. Nothing of substance is really discussed. And, it's in and out. It's a final meeting with, I don't know how else you do it with these two. Right. I don't know how else you do it.
All right. You mentioned Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and you sent me, because, we typically talk about Harry and Meghan offline. But you sent me some really sweet, positive press coverage of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And we saw a lot of it this week. And she looked gorgeous. And in come the cute, adorable children. And Princess Charlotte is Catherine's clone. And we're watching them. They have the same mannerisms. It was such a great weekend for Wales watching, if you love watching the Prince and Princess of Wales. But some are saying that perhaps this secret summit was leaked to disrupt Catherine's positive headlines. So do you buy into at all the fact that Team Sussex just could not stand the positive headlines that the Wales family were getting over the last few weeks and days?
I tend to think the animating force here was Meghan and her seething jealousy over Catherine, her single white femaling of Catherine, her rage that she will never be Queen of England. Um, to see Catherine, watching it from an American perspective, I love Wimbledon, I love tennis. Watching Catherine as the patron of Wimbledon, seeing her this year at both the women's final and the men's, which were back to back, which must have been a lot for her. But I was most really moved by there was a big story in the Mail about her breaking royal protocol. There was a very low-seeded American tennis player who defeated Sabalenka and advanced to the finals. And she was, a long shot, and she couldn't do it, and she lost her composure. She was weeping on the court, and she had to remove herself and pull herself together. And tennis is so much about how you lose. It's why I love tennis. It's so much about like keeping your dignity and sportsmanship and all of that. And so it's very un-British too, right? To not be able to keep your stiff upper lip. And Catherine, in awarding this young player, put her hand on her arm and said, "Hold your head up high. Basically, you have nothing to be ashamed of." And I thought that was so lovely and moving, and the kind of the kind of humanity we're now seeing is it's sort of a different, warmer. It reminds me of that shot of Catherine running out of her SUV towards like that little girl who had been waiting for her for hours.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I think sends Meghan Markle into paroxysms of rage. And so she couldn't help herself. She had to leak this story to put the Waleses on notice that they are working their way back. At least she thinks so. She thinks so. I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope you're right. You mentioned Catherine and Meghan's jealousy, and that's a really great segue. We're not done talking about the royal reconciliation. We'll go back. But there were two stories that reminded me exactly of what you were talking about that circulated this week. You and I love Tom Bower. We love Tom Bower's book Revenge. And for some reason, one of those stories that I had completely forgotten about started circulating this week about how Thomas Markle, her father, said that Meghan was so jealous of one of the girls she went to school with because she booked a gig in LA. She booked a gig, so and Meghan was ugly to her over it. Then a teacher made Meghan pick between being in the pajama game, a play, or doing some sort of week-long camp. And Meghan chose the camp, but she was angry over the fact that the teacher made her choose. So she insisted that her dad not be the lighting director on the play that she felt excluded from, and got into a screaming match with him and packed up and moved to live with her mother as a teenager over this. So the headline there is just this intense jealousy. Meghan Markle's Hollywood career reportedly suffered from her intense jealousy. And on the back of that, there's that story about how Meghan was so angry that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was the priority when it came to fashion designers. I mean, I cannot imagine being this petty and saying, angry that Catherine was the priority, saying she's not even queen. She's not even queen. The power of yet, Maureen, the power of yet. She's not queen yet. But I think you're exactly right that there is so much jealousy when it comes to Meghan and Catherine, and Meghan had to be quiet last year. Meghan had to behave last year because you do not mess with cancer. And now all bets are off, it seems like, again.
There's so much about this that's amazing. This anecdote about her rage over a champagne problem. You can be in this play and have a big role, or you can go on this retreat, which sounds lovely. And how dare you make her choose? What is Sophie's choice, truly?
Yeah.
This is the kind of maturity that I'm sure the Windsors were like, wow, let's roll out the red carpet for this one. What an addition. And then to have a screaming fight with her father, who, helped build this monster. I am fascinated by the gap. It's like the Christ of the Bible, where it's like we don't know what happened between age 12 and age 30. It's the same with Meghan Markle. Like there's this missing span of her life and what went down there, right? And when you tell these stories or repeat the Bauer stories of that he's unearthing of the raving jealousy at that age, what comes to mind is the final sequence of The Substance, where Demi Moore finally just becomes this gargoyle who's spewing bile all over this. Like that's Meghan Markle to me. Like she has just fully been overtaken by her rage and her jealousy. And this is why she will never make it. It's why every next endeavor is yet another step down and a great failure.
No shade to Mindy Kaling, but do you think that's why Meghan doesn't have any friends that are real Hollywood rock stars? I feel, and not that Mindy Kaling is her friend. I know she tried to play that, but you don't say to your friend, actually, it's Kinsey Sussex now. Like I would never. So do you think that jealousy that we're talking about limits her ability to develop relationships, real relationships in Hollywood? Look, we know they're toxic, but there are some people that don't care, that just want the association with or the proximity to the royal family, and we don't see anyone with them.
Oprah has traded Meghan Markle for Lauren Sanchez. Okay. Uh, it's very, very true. You know, Meghan, that Sussex now comment, which will live in infamy. That was fascinating to me because that is someone who is trying to that's her superiority complex at work. But I think that the flip side of a superiority complex is a deep inferiority complex. You know, it's like how narcissists are really just wounded children, but they're still monsters, right? It's two sides of the same coin. And so she's got a major inferiority complex and she's always looking to overcompensate or prove herself. Thus come these utterances that are just intolerable, insufferable. I think Mindy Kaling housed that comment on screen because she just had to absorb the shrapnel, but in her mind was like, I can't wait to get out of here and I will never have anything else to do with this woman again. What a thing to say to somebody. And you cannot be a friend to others, but especially other women, if you are at heart always looking at them as rivals, as competition. You know, I wonder in her deep yawning chasm of need and insatiability, if she also is delusional enough to look at other women and see them as threats who might go after Harry.
Well, that's what that, you know, like if you listen to Tom Bauer's words, one downside of Meghan's success was her intense jealousy, especially if someone else got the lead part. I think that Prince Harry was the ultimate lead role. And she had dealt with so much rejection through her entertainment, because this was a 40-year-old woman, basically, who secures Prince Harry. And she had dealt with so much rejection. Yes, Suits had happened, but Maureen, you and I have worked in entertainment for combined, I won't even say the number. I had never heard of Meghan Markle before Prince Harry. Had you?
No, never.
And
No.
so okay, you landed Suits, congratulations, but that was a very core audience, and not much. She did not ever pop up in the pop culture space at all. So I feel like I want to believe she became this monster after she secured Prince Harry. I don't want to believe that she's been like this all this time and the royal family allowed this union to take place. But thanks to Lady Elizabeth Ann and more, it does seem like she was always this nasty person.
I agree. I think, you know, this theory, I want to pull on this thread a little bit of yours, this theory that in landing Harry, she sort of got her ultimate leading role. I think that delusion quickly evaporated when she realized yet again she was in a supporting role.
Yeah.
Catherine is the lead. Catherine is the lead role. She's the star. I mean, remember it was Alexander McQueen again. And again, this is like Meghan's idiocy. She wore a French design house as her wedding gown. You wear a British designer, you idiot.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
and it's
such
like
an FU.
it's your second wedding. The least you can do is wear a British designer.
And tone down the white, make it cream, make it
Yeah.
off white. But when you looked at Catherine at Charles's coronation in that Alexander McQueen finery, she was like resplendent. And that if that had gone awry just like a hair, it could have easily veered into camp. And it did not. She is the perfect person for that role. She really is, Catherine, and it drives Meghan nuts. And we have also talked about the theory that when she got inside those walls, she was making a beeline for William. She thought she could maybe break up that marriage and herself become the future Queen of England. And, he clocked her immediately, just as the Queen clocked her immediately. And I do think that the Queen's regret over what happened to her sister Margaret and her inability to marry Peter Townsend played a factor, as was Harry's advancing age, as was his loneliness, as was every blue blood female in London running the other way when it came time to, do you want to lock this down? Would you like this life? And I don't really think it was royal life they didn't want. I think it was being hitched to this idiot that they did not want. This rageful.
Who's paranoid and angry. I mean, like, remember the videos and pictures of him like stumbling out of clubs, trying to take swipes at paparazzi. And it's like, come on, you're stumbling out of a nightclub. If you don't want your picture taken, why don't you just hang out in your living room, a living room of one of your castles with a bunch of your friends and party? It was all very odd. Okay, let's stick to William and Catherine a little bit, because some headlines surrounding the royal reconciliation was William's snub, that William was snubbed throughout this process. Do you think that Prince William's team purposely excluded themselves, or do you think that this was something that was happening behind his back? Also, somebody floated the concept to me that perhaps Prince William's team got word of the royal reconciliation meeting and were so appalled that they leaked it, which I love that idea, even though I think our original intuition that Harry and Meghan are behind it is the more likely of all of the options. But I love the idea of someone from Williams team being like, you know what, we're going to nip this in the bud real quick and get the Daily Mail on the phone.
That is such a hilarious theory, and I love it. But I can't subscribe to it, because I do believe that William and Catherine are so done with them.
Yes.
I mean, there was a statement from William's camp today that he's done, and the quote was, he effing hates Harry, hates him.
Yeah.
And I think they are taking the high road. They gray rock. They do not acknowledge. They do not, because to even do that is to engage, right? To even leak that is to engage. And it's a very unhealthy thing to get involved in. I think the stupidity of this too was meeting in a place where long lens photographers could catch you.
Right.
Why are we not meeting in an underground bunker?
What did
Why are we
Princess
not?
Diana not teach us? The Princess Diana saga not teach us? Like, go, if you do not want to be seen, again, Prince Harry stumbling out of nightclubs. If you don't want to be seen, there are plenty of places in London where you can go and not be seen.
Exactly. Remember Club H?
Yeah.
His basement club, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
gosh. Yes.
right? Club H. So, it also it makes me wonder, was there a subconscious part of King Charles that wanted this out there and wanted it to be known, or did he think, if I can get this done quietly and get some sort of agreement made very, very quietly, then I will break the news to William, and he does not have to be a part of this, but as father to this wayward son, I have to be able to meet my maker, having made peace with my child, and seeing a grandchild I've never met.
Right.
These are very poignant human impulses. So yeah, no, but I think Meghan Markle was the on the phone.
There were, there was one TMZ leak that was so clearly her years ago, right when they first moved here. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. I want to read that quote you mentioned because it's so good. It's from the Daily Beast. William's loathing for Harry runs deep, as one longtime friend of the Prince of Wales once bluntly put it to the Daily Beast. He absolutely effing hates Harry. Asked about speculation that William would have supported the meeting, the friend told the Daily Beast, William will never, ever forgive Harry for what he has done. Charles is the king. He can do what he likes, but make no mistake, William believes with every fiber of his being that giving Harry and Meghan back any royal endorsement is a huge mistake. It's true, you give them any sort of reconciliation or being seen with them or talking to them gives them this boost that they need again to sell their commercial
Hmm.
products. I mean, look at Meghan's products. They all have royal crests, royal looking crests, gold calligraphy. She's selling basically British made in Illinois teas and the same sort of items that you can find within the Buckingham Palace and Highgrove guest gift shops. It's an endorsement. It's an endorsement that helps them financially, and I think that that's very astute for them to be aware of that. It's a real tug of war when it comes to my heart because yes, King Charles wants to see his son. I know that that's unfair of me to loathe that idea, but from Prince William's side, we talked about the rosé on Princess Diana's birthday. There's
Hmm.
like I feel like he thinks that she is relentless and greedy, and why give them that endorsement? Why give them anything that they can turn around and sell, even positive vibes?
It goes even to using the HRH, which they promised the late queen they would never do, and she made a condition of letting them go, uh, and Charles supporting them financially for at least the first year that they were out of
Which we
their
didn't
working
know,
royals.
Maureen. Maureen, thank you for bringing that up because we did not know that. We just recently found that out within the last few months. Harry sat on Oprah Winfrey and was like, I've been cut off, which is so hard for us to digest watching a 40-year-old man talk about his allowance being taken away.
Well, he's not a man. He's a man-child. He's a baby. He's a toddler. He's always throwing, he's reactive. He's impulsive. The other thing that I think is, on all of Meghan's letterhead and all of this stuff, I think she also has a crown.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have never once said, I'm sorry. They have never once taken responsibility for any of it, let alone the pain they caused Prince Philip on his deathbed, let alone the agony they caused the late queen in her remaining years, suffering we now know from blood cancer. They have never taken her name, her nickname, Lilibet. You know, these are really deep, deep, deep wounds
Betrayals.
that they have
Yeah.
caused.
Yeah.
Deep betrayals. How you could ever trust people like this again? You would be a fool to. You would be a fool to. And you know, I'm always asked by, British journalists and friends, do the Americans really loathe Harry and Meghan? Is it true? And I can only tell you that loathing grows deeper and wider with every single misstep they make in the media.
But is that why they are gunning for this reconciliation? Because if it looks like the British royal family, who have been the targets, forgive them, are we more likely to forgive them?
No, no, no. I think they're gunning for this reconciliation. And I hate to put it in these terms, but this is the way Meghan Markle thinks and her husband. I am sure they have no idea about King Charles's prognosis.
Mm-hmm.
Although Harry, in a recent interview, crudely said, I don't know how much time my father's got left. I mean,
I know. Oh my God.
so, but they know when William ascends to the throne, that is it for them.
Yeah.
That is it. They won't even have access to the VIP lounge at Heathrow. That's it. They're done. So if they don't get in with Charles now, it is over, well and truly.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah. I mean, I think speculation that they're broke and confused and don't know what direction they're going is also fair too. I mean, Harry is so lonely. I don't care how many surfing lessons he takes. If you're having to pay people to hang out with you,
Hmm.
that's not a great sign. I think he's
No.
lonely. I think he's lonely. I know I've said this before, but he's hanging around a bunch of women that are self-made, totally self-consumed. What does he talk about? What does he bring to that conversation in a room with, let's pretend that Gayle King and Oprah have given Meghan a 5 minutes of their day. What kind of conversations are those like, and how can Harry contribute to them?
I don't think he can. I mean, have I told you this story? I have a good friend of many, many, many years who found himself, I have to sort of keep it vague, but at a private dinner with Harry and Meghan, and they were in a private room of a restaurant in America, and there were maybe six people at this table. Six people, definitely six people. It was three couples. And at one point, Meghan left with her friend to adjourn to the hotel. And so my friend and his partner were with Harry for hours. And long story short, the guy could not contribute to a conversation whatsoever. These were really, really smart, sophisticated, fun, and funny people. Oh, and this is a great anecdote. So my friend said before Meghan left, he was trying to make conversation with her. And this is not an unusual world for him to find himself in. So he's not, I say that to just say he's not a rube. He's not like, oh my God, you're Meghan Markle. I can't believe I'm sitting here. He's not that. He says to her, so you guys live in Montecito. You know, there's this great restaurant you should try. It's on the water, and they catch the fish, and they make the food right there, and it's incredible. And she says, no, there's not. I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, no, I can promise you there is. My ex-husband is from that area, and we visited often, and we would go there all the time. It was our regular haunt. And she says to him, well, you know, Andre Balazs was just at our house last week, and he said nothing about that.
So name dropping to just discredit this person. Oh God, oh my gosh. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with her.
Can you imagine? I mean, I think Catherine and William are probably greatly relieved they don't have to, like, there was a news item here a couple of weeks ago that Catherine in particular really wants Meghan's, at least one of her ventures, to become successful, because at least then she'll be busy and occupied with something else other than like slinging rockets over there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think either one of them can keep up a conversation of any interest or import.
Well, I look forward to staying on top of this royal reconciliation story with you, because it's, there are reports that the king and Harry could potentially meet soon. Will someone leak what those conversations were like? Will Harry end up on Good Morning America the next day or 48 hours later rehashing? Because that's what he did after flying to see his father after it was announced that he was sick. Can you believe he went on TV to talk about? I mean, yes, you can. But this is a story that we're going to stay on top of, because obviously it's fascinating and a pretty big development, considering the fact that there's been no communication over the last few years. But your insight is my favorite. I couldn't wait to, I sent you the article the second I saw it, because I couldn't wait to see what you said.
I know, I love it. I mean, this is such a major development in this ongoing family saga. And again, I think we all find it, whether you're a royal watcher or a monarchist or not, it is really astonishing to watch these dynamics play out. And it's something every human on the planet can relate to. And it's almost biblical, the severing of the brothers, it's almost biblical.
Right.
So yeah, I love talking to you about it. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, always. Agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And Maureen, I will see you very soon.
See you soon, Kinsey. Safe travels.